Hello, my beautiful Taurus. I'm so glad you're here. This is your 2026 year forecast, and that is for Taurus Sun, Taurus rising, or Taurus moon. You get to pick how you'd like to look at them or listen to all three for yourself. How I've structured the reading is I have some cards that I've pulled for the overall, the messages overall for your year, and then we're going to pull cards for the 4 quarters, and then a few just at the end, just to kind of tidy it all up. As well, I have a free workshop that I'm going to be holding on January 25th in the afternoon. The link will be below, and we're going to look at the major points of astrology in 2026 because there's lots happening. And then we're going to pull at that time tarot and oracle for each one of the months and just go collectively into month by month and look at the energy that way. I'd love to have you with me. If you're not able to come in person and live that day, just know that the recording would be sent to you. Okay, let's start this reading. Let us move down so you can see my beautiful cards and you can see how we're already starting. I have many different cards for our overview, and the first one we have is the Wild Unknown Oracle. It's not the Wild Unknown Archetype. It's not the Oracle, it's the archetype. And this is the medallion. So this archetype gets us to think about a medallion, and it's the idea that they use for this card specifically is to really recognize we have talesmen, we have medallions, and we have heirlooms that are given to us over time, or we collect them over time. And Taurus, if you were like me and you see all the rocks I collect, well, if you were to look around this room, I collect a lot of different things. I am Taurus. I love, excuse me, a lot of things in my life. I love comfortable. I love what makes me feel good. And this card this year is about sorting, and it's about sorting for us because it asks us maybe if we've had something, maybe it's an heirloom, maybe it's something I've kept for a version of myself when I was 15 or 12. Do I still need it? And why do I need it? How does it help me in the becoming of who I want to be? So it's really looking at what we currently have in our houses, in our lives, and if it fits the energy that we're trying to build in 2026. So I can tell you for me, this means I have a lot of decluttering. I already knew that before, and this is a true nod that I need to continue to declutter. It also asks, and it has a way, is there a talisman or is there a medallion, an amulet, something that you would like to have for this year that you would like to hold? It's kind of like that idea of the shield and the family crest. This idea, it is also saying, what is the image for you that's going to guide you throughout this year? The energy of it. So it's in two ways. What do you need to release? What are you bringing in? And getting you to kind of think about that and taking some time and recognizing the energy of all of the 3D physical items. And do you still want that energy? And if not, you can gift it to those who are less fortunate. And if you still do, how is it building towards who you are? Next, we have, oh, I just literally just picked this up today out of my mailbox. I did an unboxing. This is the Faye Wood Oracle, beautiful artist from the Netherlands. And this card is the Weaver, past, present, and future. And for me, it ties a lot to that. It's looking several ways. Like what I'm getting from the message is the now. So throughout this year, you are going to have intersections throughout the past, present, and future. Things are going to come up that you have to release. This is the past. Trauma is going to come up triggers. And these are for you, not happening to you, but happening for you to release. It's these anchors that you can just let go of so that you can just soar up high. And it's being very clear when you look at the medallion as well about the future. What is the future you? If you think of yourself 2 years from now, what you're trying to create, and you close your eyes and you do a visualization and you think of this version of yourself, what is she doing? What is the work? What is the home? What are the relationships? What is her energy? What is going on based on what the plans are, based on what you're trying to create, based on what's happening? And I want you to imagine that future version of yourself comes to a door and opens it and comes face to face with you, this present version of yourself. And what is this future version going to say to you? What is the advice 2 years from now? What's important? What's valuable? How did she navigate some tricky situations? What did she recognize finally she had to cut out? What did she need to embrace? Have some of these conversations, do some of this journaling, and have this work throughout this year. There are going to be pivotal points where you are going to be triggered and you are going to see, due to the different astrological alignments, that you need to really figure this out and have a strong sense of the present. Because it's in this moment right now, you sitting where you are, that we actually have our power. It's in our current choices for what we choose at this moment and then the next moment. But it's in the present moment that we have the power to choose to have the energy of the past where we've already been, and it can drag us down, or it can give us wisdom, right? We get to choose, or we can choose in the end, we can choose in the present to be attached to the energy of this future self that we want to bring and act like this future self. And then we have the old magic oracle, and it's the Lover's card. And it's speaking about masculine, feminine. It's speaking about balance. It's speaking about, and I see it as that cosmic balance. So masculine, feminine, the doing and the receiving. So for myself as a Taurus, and often I can find it's really easy for me to do a lot of giving, to just be present in my masculine as a human doing. And this is really getting me this year to create time and mark time where I am receiving and easily contemplating and reflecting. What am I trying to create? Am I getting there? How is my energy? And recognizing that they're the yin and the yang. We need both of them. We need the divine masculine. We need the divine feminine in all of us. And we have to find that sacred balance to co-create. And I find it so interesting because these are the soul cards, and this is the card that comes in. So there's no words that come with this card. So it's getting you to look at what are the colors that connect with you? How is the image talking to you? So for me, when I look at this, it does talk about the duality of the masculine, the feminine, the duality of our shadow and our light, and recognizing that we need to embrace both. So when I go in, as we do this work, it is falling deeply in love with who we honestly are at this moment, at this time, and being truthful and honest and loving yourself for eating too much chocolate and too much sugar, loving yourself for getting upset, loving the shadow and the bits of yourself that is still evolving, releasing and growing, and loving the future, beautiful version of yourself that is light, that is happiness, that connects with the divine, that resonates at a high level. We are constantly in an ebb and flow of masculine, feminine, of light, dark. There is a duality that is present in our lives. And in order to come to a unity of it all, it is to recognize that one is not bad and one is not good. It's that each offers you an experience. Each offers you a moment to contemplate, to reflect, to think, and to grow from. And this year, we're going to have that. You're going to have moments where you need to dig in deep and do this reflection and contemplation, as things can go really crazy and hairy and things can cycle fast. So anchor down. And our Michelle Buchanan numerology deck is 33, which is communication. So 33 is a beautiful master number and communication. And for me, this is communication with yourself. So I have communication to others. When I think of communicating for myself, I think of journaling. I think of doing a vlog. I think of writing notes for myself. It is talking to myself, getting out of my head, and now putting the power of words. When we put it into words, either in written form or we talk about it and we communicate it, and you can communicate it to other people. You can communicate what you're trying to create. You can communicate these different aspects of what you're growing and shaping. I invite you, though, here, this is this communication with yourself, and it is active listening. And this is important. So when you active listen with your own self, with your own soul, you have to create moments in your day where you're quiet, moments in your day where you're listening. And the act of listening is listening to understand. So I will do a body scan and I will wonder, wow, where is my energy leaking? Where am I tight? Where am I flowing? And I'll wonder why, and I'll communicate to myself. And I might put in rituals to help me relax, help me release. I might put in rituals to help me bring myself into higher vibration, elevating my emotions through joy, gratitude, pleasure of looking at a beautiful sunset, a beautiful sunrise, getting into nature, and just communing with the collective good of all. And that's why peace, the Tao Oracle, it's talking, this is from the I Ching, it's bringing us into peace this year. This is a goal that we're coming into, is finding peace being within our souls, within our bodies. And I find this within balance. So there is duality of eating right, but not becoming so rigid that it becomes an inflexible way of doing anything. This is about finding peace and flow and gentleness and kindness with yourself, with others. And to mark when you're not in peace. So if you are feeling anxious, fearful, angry, frustrated, where are you at? What's happening? And you need to communicate with yourself, and you need to really have some thinking, have some moments to try and understand what you're being asked to release, what you're being asked to celebrate. If you're not in peace, is it fear? Do you need to surrender? What do you need to do? It is, though, your flag, your red flag. So watch this as your red flag. Now, I'm going to put these up here with all of my beautiful stones. And then I am going to pull our first quarter. So this would be for January, February, and March. I'm going to pull 3 tarot, and then I'm going to do 2 oracle cards. So first we have, this is the Lightseer Tarot deck by Chris Ann Donnelly. Here we go. We have the Page of Swords. We have the 7 of Cups in reverse. And we have the Knight of Cups. And I am going to pull Colette Baron Reed's Animal Spirit Oracle for some energy. What is the energy that will go with this quarter? What is the energy that will go? Let's find out the energy that will go with this quarter. Is Koala Spirit. Spirit has a plan. Oh, how beautiful is that? Also, good to know that Spirit has a plan. And how is Spirit going to let us know? And for all of the quarters, I'm going to pull these beautiful surrender cards by Judith Orloff. What do we need to surrender into in this quarter? What is an important thing that we surrender, we let go of? And for this one, surrender defensiveness. So we're going to read more about that and find out what that means as we move in. Okay, now I will read this line for you. So the Page of Swords, swords is the suit of air. It is the suit of communication, thinking. And the page is, as we get into the court cards, you can see she's reading a book. This is the idea of beginning a study, taking time to study, taking time to explore ideas that intrigue us. So I know I already have books that I'm setting aside that I'm interested in reading. There are some courses that I'm taking. There are podcasts that I'm listening to. It really is about following your curiosities. Where is your soul taking you? Where is your curious mind taking you on your road of development throughout 2026? And why? And start to explore. Because as Taurus, we can get a little stuck in our ideas. We can get into a rut. And this is getting you to jump out of that and peek outside of your beautiful, cozy, luscious nest and to look at ideas that are going to help inform you and form you over the next year. Next, we have Seven of Cups in reverse. Now, everybody reads reversals differently. How I reread reversals is that this card out of 78 cards was pulled, not another one. So our question as we're doing this, and you're going to ask the same question to yourself, intuitively lean into, is this energy coming in? Is this energy going out? Or is it being blocked? And Seven of Cups is the suit of water. It's the suit of relationships, emotions, and relationships. I already said that. And intuition. And you have this guy, he has 7 cups. And under each of these cups is a different choice. So he's really worried about choosing the right thing. So I'm going to let you know how I see that this is going to happen. So first, we have the Page of Swords, inviting us to start being curious and explore. And then we come into, well, what is it that we want to do? What is the right way? And first of all, this card is about, there is no one right way. Each cup offers a different experience. Each pathway offers a different experience for you to grow, for you to fail, for you to celebrate. There is not one right way to live in this world. There are so many ways. And it's just to lean into for you right now. What do you want to grow? What do you want to move forward with? And the most important thing is that you make a choice and you start. And the worst thing that can happen is you can go down that road and you're halfway down the road and you say, oh, I thought I wanted to do this, but I don't. So if you're a reader, you know what that's like. You pick up books, and we do books a lot. So you pick up books and you abandon a book. So you start reading it, you get into the first chapter, the second chapter, and sometimes you might even get a quarter of the way through the book and you're giving it a chance so that you can get a flow, you can get a feeling. But it doesn't matter. Each time it's just so hard. It's like walking through deep snow or molasses. So I would abandon that book because at that moment, at that time, that book is not for me. I may never pick up that book or I might come back to it. I know with my studies of different modalities, there are different books that I have bought and I was curious about, and they have sat on my shelf for 10 years. And then I pick them up because I have three signs. I say there are signs from spirit that come in. Someone talks about it 3 or 4 times. It comes into and I look on my shelf and I'm like, oh, I have this book. And so I know that is the right time for me to start to explore. So for this first quarter, that's what you're going to be doing, is making some choices of how you want to move forward and recognize that you can back up. And how are you going to know which way to move forward? The Knight of Cups, once again, Cups is the suit of water, relationships, intuition. And in here, it's the court card, and you can see he is courting. He's going on a date. This Knight moves us forward, and it happens through flow. So you're going to find what you want to choose, what you want to go forward is going to happen with flow. It's going to be like going on a good date. It's going to be like having a good connection with someone, a beautiful experience that just feeds your soul, your body, your spirit, your mind. And so that's how you're going to know you're moving in the right direction. And your spirit animal, spirit has a plan. When I read this, there are pieces in here. So start to recognize your messages from spirit. I spoke about that. I said, oh, will someone, it just randomly came onto my feed. The same idea, the same concept. Maybe it's about oracle cards. Maybe it's about exercising. I am not sure. But you have the same thing come up again. Or maybe what you have is a song. Maybe you get messages through pictures. Spirit is chatting with you. And for me, a spirit team means angels, saints, ancestors, spirit guides, my loved ones in spirit, and the creator, universe, source, God, however you want to call it. That's what's happening, is that there is this plan. When you came down, there was a plan for you specifically on this earth to breathe, to learn, to grow, to expand, to explore. And they want you to do that. They want you to find joy. They want you to release what doesn't serve you and to move towards what does. So this idea of dualities and loving every version of yourself, they want you to move forward. So surrender your defensiveness. And defensiveness is a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out, then offer a clear, non-defensive response. So this is also about communication to others as well as communication to self. So I have to tell you, as a Taurus, I can get stuck in my thinking. I can get stuck in my expectations. I can get stuck in this is how I do it. And so I can have my own defensiveness saying, no, I don't want to do that. No, I work out in the morning. I cannot work out in the afternoon. I do this. And this is saying surrender that defensiveness, fall into peace, surrender it, try different things that you might enjoy, explore, move forward, try these cups and recognize where you're getting stuck to just surrender into it and become empowered by your choices and what you can do for yourself. Next, we have the Wild Reflections Tarot. And I use different tarot decks because sometimes we actually have the same cards coming up. So we recognize that then there's a message just within those cards coming up. Now, this is the second quarter. So this is April, May, and June. So let's see. I'm just going to put it up here and then move it down. So first we have Strength. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune. And then we have the Ace of Swords. Now, what is powerful about this? Just leaning in. What is powerful about this is that the month of April has a lot of astrological shifts that are happening. So that's happening in the month of April. So I see two major arcana cards here. And in the tarot, major arcana cards are the hero's journey. And in a reading, they have more energy. So you'll often listen to that. And here we have the Sacred Rebels deck and Defend to the End, the Worthwhile. So let's read what this is about. The Strength. So this card is the 8, and it is strength. So we have a young girl and a lion, and she is taming the lion, not being eaten by the lion. This has many different meanings, and you need to figure out which one for yourself is true. First of all, it's talking about you have the strength to endure. You have the strength to make the changes and to live what you want to live. So you have the strength to do all of this. You have the strength to find your peace. You have the strength to make choices. And it is also about recognizing as she, the human, and the animal in ourselves. It's that idea of I look at it as our nervous system that keeps us alive. So our nervous system keeps us alive. That's it. It doesn't bring us joy and happiness. That's not its goal. Its goal is instinctual, to keep us alive. And that can often happen with our mind. And then we can have our heart and our soul that's calling us on a higher path, calling us to change. And so what will happen is any change we make, all of a sudden, our nervous system is going, alert, 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 you made a change. And even if it is a good change, change is really hard for the nervous system. And it's going to say, like, no, this doesn't feel good. So even if you start eating healthier, your nervous system is going, this feels different. This feels different. You know what? We always used to eat our chocolate bar at this time. And so your nervous system is like, we like order. We like the same thing. We like being able to predict. But this is saying you are able to, you have the strength to deal with that. You have the strength to tame that. You're going to thank your nervous system and say thank you, because its job is to keep you alive. That's a really noble, noble job. And then you're going to shift over to your soul. The whispers of your soul is what I call it, to your intuition, your heart. And what's calling you? What is really something that's calling you on this pathway? And so this is communication within your own self. So you might have a spiraling mind of fear and anxiety saying, don't do it. And you have a desire that's coming in and you want to do this. You can see a version of yourself and you want it to come into being. And this is saying you have the strength to do it. So persevere, keep going. You're going to be able to do it. Have this communication and do it with a loving, loving way. So when we have the lovers, when we have the duality of ourselves, you know what? If we're trying to reduce sugar in our lives, and we do have chocolate, berating ourselves, belittling ourselves is not going to help. We have to, with beautiful compassion, self-love, and in this internal communication, say, you know what, sweetheart, that's okay. Tomorrow week is another day. We're going to start again. We're going to start again. We can do this. And that's what the strength is. You will endure. You can do this. And next we have another major arcana card. It is the Wheel of Fortune. So it's actually like a roulette table in the sense of, and I love this. So the Wheel of Fortune is the idea of fate. So what's just happening? And I loved Carolyn Meesh. She is a mystic teacher that I listen to. She talked about the Wheel of Fortune moving from fate into destiny. And what the difference is the choices that you make along the way. It's the choices here. You have the strength to create, not just be fate, which I see that as a ball in a old arcade game, binging from place to place, ding, 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 like you're just responding to the craziness that's happening through the astrology in your life, other people. You're just responding, responding, responding. And instead, it's inviting you to say, no, destiny is about choice. It's about what do you want? What do you love? What are you bringing in for yourself? Making these choices, culling what you don't, releasing what you don't want, because you want, this is a time of destiny. This is a time of making choices. So you want to, even beforehand, after this reading, you want to journal, you want to dream, you want to set up what is it you want in your life And now this is saying in this quarter, start choosing it, start acting with it, start doing it. And that's what the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is this beautiful arrow. It is about communication, air. It's about the doing of the ideas. So ideas are going to start coming in. You're going to start to get a clear sense of what you want. And so it's the beginning of shooting the arrow into our destiny and creating what we want. And then in this oracle, it says, defend to the end the worthwhile. And this is the idea of what you love, what you want to create is worthwhile for you. You need to endure it, and you can you're going to defend it. You're going to be able to do it and endure it. It's another nod to endurance and saying, you've got this. And your spirit team is saying, we're going to be with you. When we have these faded major arcana cards, it's saying you're not doing this alone. The idea, spirit has a plan. You're not doing this alone. We are co-creating with you. So at times you need to surrender and trust us. So if it gets crazy, make sure you stop, find your peace, find your center, ground, contemplate, get back to what you're trying to create, and connect with your spirit team. And what are you going to be surrendering into in this quarter? You are going to surrender to your soul's path. You can't make this up. That's why I love cards. Everything we just said, your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson in every moment. And sometimes in here, people say, well, does that mean I don't have any choices and I just follow like an arcade pinball, not ping pong ball, pinball? And the answer is no. Though we have a path, though there is a path towards our highest potential, there is a path towards our highest potential. And you can feel it when you're in high vibing. When you're in your flow, I call it, when I'm in my flow, when I'm in my glow, I know I find it really easy just to go. So it's just, you're flowing, you're happy, you're joyous. And it doesn't mean that when you're not that, because I'm really coming to understand that I come into then periods where I have to, once again, recalibrate. So that might be from some crunchy energy. That might be from some challenges. And it's for me. It is all for me to figure out, what do I want to keep? What do I want to release? The medallion, the heirloom. Do you want to keep all the heirlooms? Are they all important to who you're trying to create? Or are some of them ones you can take a picture of and say, I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to have this, but this heirloom may be important to someone else. So what are you cluttering your life with? That's what it's asking you. And it's to recognize that everything is happening for you. So if it feels crunchy and challenging, you have the strength to deal with it. If it's crunchy and challenging, it's happening for you. So really be curious about what this trigger is doing and why is it still there. It might mean some therapy. It might mean some inner child work. It might be journaling. And I take out my cards and I'm saying, like, why am I feeling this way? Why? And I recognize then what it feels like when I'm in my flow. I recognize what it feels like, what it sounds like when I'm doing the right things for my soul at this time. And I say at this time, because this is for 2026. It's not for the rest of your life. Okay, we're going to move this down here. Very powerful. That quarter for you is very, very powerful. What that means when a quarter becomes very, very powerful like that, those months are powerful. Make sure that you've already built in time. If you're going to go on a retreat, that's a good time to go on a retreat. Make sure already in April, May, and June, you're building time into your schedule, your big rocks for contemplation, for peace, for really taking time to sift through these ideas and build. You need to build in the time. You need to find that duality of the masculine doing and the feminine receiving. So already now, look, Is this a time for a holiday? Is this a time when you're going to take, for me, sometimes taking a class, reading a book helps. It is here, but what is it that you're going to be doing? You need time. I am seeing you sitting, for me, I'm seeing sitting at a desk. But the truth is, people meditate in different ways. I've had some of my clients, they meditate best by working out and running. Once they're doing that, their mind slows down and they're able to connect with their intuition and their soul. Whatever it is for you, so that you can listen to all parts of yourself. Whatever it is for you, find what it is and plan it in. You already know what works for you. And if you don't, start exploring so that you know by April, May, and June, these are heavy lifting months for you karmically. So you need to just build in time to process all the emotions, ideas, and I just see fire happening. You're just going to be on fire just because it's your soul's path. It's your dharma. It's happening. What you want is happening. You're just like singing in joy. So be prepared for that. Now we have our third quarter. So this will be July, August, and September. So we have the 9 of Wands. We have the 4 of Swords. And we have the 2 of Swords. And I'm going to be using for this one the Magic Spirit Oracle. I love her. She's quite a sassy, beautiful, sassy deck. Just looking for the energy for this one. The mind. Give to the mind and it gives back. Inspiration, mood, and cycle. Okay. So let's read our tarot cards. So for July, August, and September, those are our beautiful summer months. Sorry, just 1 second and it does not want to come in. Hey, these are our beautiful summer months. So the first one we have is the 9 of Wands. Wands is the suit of fire. It's the suit of passion, creativity. And it's this idea. You can see this person has on bandages on their head. They've lived a tough, tough life. And so they've often been through a war. And this is kind of the last stand. And it's saying, don't give up. Like it's almost over. Like it's just, you're getting to the end of the difficult and the crunchy. And July has some more big shifts in astrology. So you can see this is a nod to that. It is going to cool down after the last half of the year. So this 9 of Wands is saying, keep your true north, keep your compass, keep knowing where you want to go. And don't give up. Don't give in to saying, it doesn't matter. I don't know what it is. Go back to what you're trying to create. Go back to your dreams. Go back to the version of yourself at the end of 2026 that you're trying to create. So the end is near. And this one, the 4 of Swords. Swords is the suit of communication. As I said, air, communication, and thinking. And the 4 of Swords is about taking a break. The swords are sitting against this beautiful van. This guy, he has a cup of coffee, and he's just watching the beautiful northern lights. So it's building into those 3 months' time to rest. You've been working hard. You've been fighting hard, doing the hard work, the heavy lifting. It has been intense. Be real with yourself. Know that it has been intense. Know that what's been happening around you is not just something you need to ignore and, think positive and it will go away. No, it's going to be difficult. There's lots of difficult, challenging aspects to this year and really to every year in our lives. So this is about taking time. And in Canada, it is about going camping. It is about connecting to nature. It's about going on your holiday, sitting by the lake, sitting by fires and singing and just not worrying about creating or doing. You're just being. You're just enjoying the people you with. You're just eating good food and good barbecues and having beautiful hikes. Whatever fills your soul to help you rest. because you need to rest. And now the Two of Swords is coming in. There's going to be some choices that you're going to make. And this is where the mind is coming in. So the Two of Swords, swords being communication and thinking, so coming up here. Two of Swords is about making a choice. And the challenge with this one is that it's not always an easy choice. Two of Swords is about a rock and a hard place choice. It's the idea that if you do one thing, you give up something else, and you would like to have both of them. And that's often what life is like. It's not, there's a lot of gray. And so in these months, to create what you want, to release, you might have to make some difficult choices. And I see this with the mind is to recognize the sword suit is also about being analytical. So there is a beautiful place for our heart, our intuition. And this is also, there's a place to have an analysis. So what this means is I will often do pros and cons lists. So I will, with my mind, list all the pros, list all the cons, and then I will use my intuition to make the decision. But I find out all the information first. I do my research. I figure it out. I answer all those questions for myself, and then I use my intuition. And that's how I see the Two of Swords. It's how are you going to be moving into this last part of this year? And there's choices to be made at this time. So you will need to be making those choices and figuring out how to do it and loving your mind as a beautiful computer to help you with the analysis. And then going to your beautiful heart and soul to help you lean in to how to move forward. And what do you need to surrender into for this quarter? Surrender to your full power. That is goosebumps. Your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small. This is your choice. Because the challenge is sometimes moving into our full power means that some of the relationships we have might fall away. Because if we shine our light to be the brightest our soul path wants us to be, our highest potential. And Marianne Williamson talks about we actually fear our most powerful self the most, over even fearing what we don't do. We fear our full power. And so it is getting you to surrender and recognize this version of yourself that you're trying to create. I want you to take off the governor. I want you to imagine a version of yourself and a life for yourself that is completely outrageous and isn't connected to any of the shoulds from any of the people around you. And I see this as a nod here to the medallion and heirlooms and the tribes that we live within. So sometimes there can be an inflexibility. So tribes can be so good for us because they can help us. They can make us feel connected and loved. Now, in its lowest frequency, tribes can be very inflexible and stagnant. And this might be a time when you need to figure out if what you're choosing is a should based on someone else's goals. And based on someone else's value. I'm going to give an example for this. So for me, I was in education. I was at the highest level in education. So working at the division level at that time as a division principal, working with all of the principals, the teachers, and about to look at going as an associate superintendent. And there was just so many crunchy things happening, just so many crunchy things. And I recognized, and this was the difficult choice, I recognized that though up until that time in my life, this was my fuel, this was my passion, this was my joy. And something shifted. And I think it's around your 50s, so that can happen. But there's going to be lots of shifts this year. So there's going to be a shift. And I recognized that surrendering to my full power meant that I had to retire. And I retired and moved with my husband. And now when I look back at it, I can see it my soul's path. Because I worked with my husband in his business, it helped us sell the business. Like you can see hindsight is 2020. That's the idea. But I had to surrender to my heart, to my soul that knew at that point I needed a different pathway for me to find my joy. I needed a different pathway to co-create in a different way to find peace. And I was surprised by it. So for you, what does full power look for you? And to really look at that choice to surrender into it, to be part of it, and what that choice will look like for you. So in that quarter, you're really going to be contemplating those things and writing lists and connecting with your soul and taking breaks. Go sit under the stars, and are some of the answers there? Are some of the answers when you touch a beautiful tree, when you hold a rock? Are some of the answers there? That's what you're going to be looking at. We now have the This Too Might Hurt tarot deck. And this is for our last quarter. So this is from October, November to December. So what is the energy for this last quarter of the year, Taurus? We have the Seven of Swords and the Hermit in reverse and the Page of Cups in reverse. Okay. And now I'm going to be using Asha Frost's Oracle, Medicine Oracle deck. It's a beautiful, glorious deck. As well, she has a book that's good. If you're looking for something over here, she has a book that follows the moons of the year from an Indigenous perspective. It is a very powerful monthly reflection. So if you're looking for something, that might be something. Asha Frost, you can just look her up and you will see her book. Okay, let us see. Roots, reconnection. Very Taurus and Earth for us. And here we go. So the Seven of Swords. Swords, once again, suit of air. And the Seven of Swords, what's happening here is he's actually stolen these from the house that he's running from. So this can be a card that actually speaks about something being stolen from you. For me, this usually comes up and it's more of an emotional check. And usually it's because surrendering to my full power, I'm stealing something from myself. So it's my fear that hasn't allowed me to move forward, my anxiety, my worry. I'm not enough. I don't want to shine. I don't know what people are going to think about me. What happens if it doesn't work? So all of these thoughts, I'm stealing my truest potential. I'm stealing how I am moving forward. I am stealing my ability to live in my full power. And so this is a time to reflect for yourself in the last 3 months. When you look at the year, when you look at what you're trying to create, when you look at how you're communicating, when you look at your piece, have you done the work? This is kind of like a check for yourself. Have you done the work? Or are you in anxiety, fear, and terrified and not connected to your heart, not connected? You haven't been able to tame. You haven't been able to do these things. And so then it's a time to then find different ways. It's still happening for you. So be kind, compassionate, and forgiving with yourself. It's still happening for you. So if you haven't gotten there yet, just be kind and say, now I can go back and I can go back and redo and rethink and rejig some of these aspects. The Hermit is a major arcana card, and the Hermit energy is coming, I see it coming in and actually going out. So There are going to be some of you that this energy is coming in. And what it means is you have been doing all this hard work. You've been doing all this hard work. And the hermit is about being a hermit, going and taking the time to be on your own path. Look at what's happening and just go back into your own heart, your own soul. It's a lot like the Four of Swords. It's resting, finding your path, finding your light, and just really recentering yourself and saying, yeah, this is what I wanted to do. This is what happened. And this is where I went. So it's a time of contemplation and reflection and going into yourself, being a hermit, going into yourself. Now, for the other half of you, if you by chance have been the Seven of Swords and you haven't done the work, when you get the Hermit in reverse, it's also saying you have to get off your laurels. You have to get out there and do the thing. So, depending on how this year unfolded for you, you might be having the Hermit as a time to reflect and rest and celebrate and look at what you've created and just lean into reflection and contemplation. Or if this is your last, you've procrastinated, you haven't done it. I've lived a lot of my life that way. This is your get off your butt and do it now. You have 3 months. Let's get going. You've experienced it. Do the reflection, move forward. You know how to do it. And the Page of Cups is coming in for either way. So the Page of Cups is the suit of relationships. It's the suit of the water, relationships, intuition, and emotions. And I see it coming in and with just joy in relationship. In the Chris Ann Donnelly deck, she has it, pigs can fly. So it's just this mystical, beautiful thinking. And it's a beautiful energy to finish the year with. It's a beautiful energy as you've done all this hard work to just reconnect to your roots, who you are, celebrate, love, and just be in joy and happiness and bliss. And just recognizing everything that you've done this year. Because this has been astrologically a real shifting year, and it'll be interesting what's happened to you and for you. And it will be interesting should you choose to take this awakened path. It'll be interesting where you are and what you're rooting into and what you're saying, yes, this is my reconnection to my tribe, to the people, to who I am, to my past, present, future. It is that real deep reconnection of you on this soul journey. And what do you need to surrender into? What do you need to surrender into? Surrender your fear of change. So as you have your reconnection, it implies that there has been a disconnection. And so that means the landscape looks different. It's like being repotted into a different pot. And as Taurus, we fear change. We like things being, and I think humans fear change. But if we don't change, the best thing about us is that we change and we evolve and we do different. So the universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. And that's what I see this reconnection is there's been a lot of change and we're reconnecting back to a different earth, or maybe the earth, there's been a flood that's gone through and it's washed out a lot of the earth beneath the roots. And so new earth is coming in. So these analogies of reconnection and do not fear the change. Your spirit team is saying, put your hand on your heart and know that you started this year embracing this new, embracing this peace that you're looking for. We have just a few overall oracle that we're just going to have for the year. Just put them on top. This is the Moon Oracle deck. And just wondering, very powerful eclipses this year, and what are they having for you? I craft my core desires with certainty and ease. So it's really about this choosing. It's the weaver. It's you craft them. You make the choices so that it's fate or destiny. You make the choice to do the work or not do the work. In the end, you don't have to. In the end, it's okay. There's going to be no one saying, oh, you didn't do this. There's going to be, this is your choice for the kind of life that you want to live. And it's just recognizing that you have the ability to craft it. And take that beautiful, solid Taurus energy and recognize that that is going to ground you into making just good choices. This is the Rebecca Campbell Ancient Stones Oracle. And this is saying the edge. Take a chance. Do something different. And we are getting that a lot here. Take a chance, Taurus. Do something different. If you want a different result in your life, you have to try something different. You have to explore different dualities. You have to find and define the things that you love. And our final one, Asha Frost again, the elder spirit animal. What is the elder spirit animal that's going to guide your growth, guide your edge, guide your core desires? Who's journeying with you? Ooh, powerful. The elder thunderbird, reclaiming your power. And this is the thunder that comes with the lightning and the storms that just booms around. And it's reclaiming that power. That thunderbird is coming to remind you of who you are, surrendering to your full power and embracing it and loving it, all aspects of you. I think that's the thing that surprises me the most, is that all of this work to come to my highest potential is an inner job. It's all within communicating within myself, finding that peace within me through deep self-love, deep forgiveness at all versions of myself. So doing the inner child work, forgiving myself when I've made mistakes and I did the best that I could at that time, and recognizing that I am incarnated here at this time for a purpose, and to respond to that purpose with joy and bliss and happiness. Well, Taurus, this is a powerful 2026 year reading. Let me know how it resonates for you, where you see your connections. And if you don't see connections and it's not resonating, spiritual sovereignty is so important. What are the messages when you see the cards? What are the connections that you see? And you follow that, because that is your message, and trust it. And once again, on January 25th, I'm going to have a link below, and you can come join me as we look at the year through the big astrological shifts, and I talk about what is happening, and then we pull a card for each month. Until next time, beautiful Taurus, keep leading with your soul.